Well, I had been through obviously a really rough period of time, and just losing my friend and questioning, is my music career over? Is this legacy of what I've done like damaged or something? And the music, actually just making it, just sitting down and doing it, was so therapeutic, and it was almost like a meditation. You sit down and just play an instrument, even with no words. And then I started to write some words, and then I started to write some songs. And so I just basically tasked myself with creating this like musical diary of my progress, of like how I've done over the course of the year.
And you talk about, in some of the interviews, you've talked about how you want to kind of end the superficiality that goes on in this whole talk about mental health, about suicide. What do you mean like that? Because I'm sure after what you went through with Chester, you look at these things and things that people just kind of say routinely very differently.
Yeah, I mean, usually that comes up when we talk about, when you ask somebody how they're doing, they oftentimes will just say, I'm doing fine. And fine is a key. Like if you hear somebody say that, they're usually not doing very well. But I think for me, like I learned going into this, we talked a lot about mental health, and one of the things that I learned is that people oftentimes they're very aware of their physical health, right, but not as aware or communicative about their mental health. So here's an example, easy example. Like somebody wakes up and they say, oh, my back hurts. So maybe it hurts a little bit and I should take it easy today. Maybe it hurts more than that and I should take some Advil or take some medicine. Maybe it hurts even more than that and I need to call in, like I can't go to work, I need to go to a doctor today. It's big. So you can apply that to your mental health. You can say, oh, I feel kind of bad. I need to take it easy on myself today. Maybe that means just like, I'm not gonna go on Twitter. It riles me up and makes me anxious. Maybe you actually need medicine. You need to take medication to help balance your chemical state. And the last thing is, if it's just really bad, then you need to see a professional, and they can actually help you. More important than anything, how do you get through how do you come to those realizations? We got to talk about it. Like we got to be okay with saying, like somebody says to you, how are you doing? You don't just say, I'm doing fine. You actually have to stop and think about it, and you can say, actually, I'm feeling okay, but this thing is going on.
Right.
And as soon as you say that to somebody, it takes that problem and diffuses it. It makes it smaller. And it also lets the other person understand where you're coming from. So if you're acting a little lethargic or you're acting cranky or whatever, they go, oh, well, they're going through some stuff and I understand.
Did you have those kind of conversations with Chester at all? Because you guys were so close.
We did. We always, I mean, that's the thing about like this whole, like when you listen back to our music, it's important to know that like those songs, we both wrote those songs. Like some of those songs that he sang, I wrote. Some of the songs we wrote together, and other ones he wrote. So we knew each other so well that I could present him with lyrics to a song that was about him and say, this is about that thing that we talked about that one time. And he'd go, oh man. And a lot of times I'd present him with one of those, and those were like some of his favorite songs that I wrote for him.
And then did you see it coming? Because that's always something people talk about.
You know, I have to say, like over the years, we had various conversations where there were signs, you know, and it's hard, it's always really, you want to beat yourself up for it, but the truth is, you know, having talked to so many people who have been in my situation where they've lost a friend or a family member, the truth is you can't be around somebody like 24/7. You can't save somebody, right? What you can do is let them know you care. You can look for the signs. You can keep on them about like, how are you doing, and encouraging them to talk things out and encouraging them to get help. And there's various other things. If you, Chester's widow Talinda, who's one of our best friends, she started a thing with a group called Changes Direction. She has a thing called 320 Changes Direction. You can go to their website and learn the signs of mental health, the signs of the warning signs if somebody's in trouble. And those will be really, I think if anybody is, you know, feeling concerned for somebody else or themselves, like definitely go check that out and you'll learn a little bit about it. Maybe you get some information to help.
And what was it like for you to go back on stage for the first time without him after you guys had toured, you know, so many, probably hundreds of cities, you know, all those albums?
It's still weird. Like, it's still really weird. I was saying that I played, you know, I played last night with Fallon. I got to play with The Roots. And I love the Roots. I grew up listening to the Roots. It was one of my, you know, when I was in like, I remember even when we started our band, they said, what do you sound like? And one of the bands we name checked in all the bands that were our favorites was the Roots. So to be able to play with those guys was really special. But I even said to them, even though I'm playing on stage with a band, it feels so weird. And I'm just trying. I'm gonna have to find a way to get used to that, you know, because the future with Linkin Park is unknown. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no, none of us are. It's just, it is what it is. This isn't a journey with a goal in mind. It's just an open-ended journey, and we're gonna take it as it goes. I'm playing tonight. I've been looking forward to this performance because it is such an intimate venue, and it's gonna be a lot of fun tonight with all the fans. I think what I want people to know about not only the album, but also the shows, is that while I want to dig into these issues in this story, I want it to be fun. I want people to come and have a great time, and for it to be entertaining, but also like meaningful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you're using the message like a true artist that you are, using the music for a very important message.
I think so. I mean, you know, we talk a lot lately about, you know, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, and you know, unfortunately dozens of other people too. And you know, there's whether it's a journalist or an artist or an influencer, like there are even kids, you know, who've grown up who 1 minute they're just a kid living in their parents' house with like 25 followers on Instagram, and the next thing they know, they've got 100,000 followers because they've made some videos and people start following them. We've all got, it's not a responsibility in you're not a teacher, you're not a, you know, whatever, but you do have a certain responsibility to know that once you've got a few people listening to you, that there are some people out there who listen to you who have triggers, and some of those triggers are higher stakes than other people. So when we talk about suicide, let's say died by suicide instead of saying committed suicide. Committed is a very, like, it's an aggressive word. It means you did something wrong. It condemns people. Let's not be graphic about what happened, because the people didn't want that. The families certainly don't want that. It's being more respectful to keep it just factual and not be dramatic. And those are the respectful ways to talk about it.
And then in terms of the process that you've gone through this past year, where are you now with everything?
I mean, all things considered, I feel like I'm doing really well. Like you know, I didn't ask for the hand that I was dealt, obviously, and I always remind people that, you know, there's no part of me that every part of me would be devastated if people forgot that Chester was one of the greatest rock singers ever. Like, he absolutely was, and an awesome dude. And so now where I'm at, with that said, I'm moving on with my career as a musician. I do still talk to the guys in the band. And for the immediate future, I've released a record that I'm really proud of. A lot of the fans are just in love with. And I got to get out there. I want to get out there in front of them and play some great shows and make some more videos and make some more good art.
And do what Linkin Park is famous for.
Thank you, yeah.
All right, great. Thank you so much.